if either one of those would wind up being a third movie, if there even will be a third movie, but I hope there is, because we have a lot more stories to tell about The Purge.
Solitamente, anzi storicamente a Hollywood, il produttore percepisce se stesso come la parte più importante del film, il regista viene dopo. E lei quanto pensa che i suoi franchise principali, Paranormal, Insidious e adesso The Purge, siano legati ai registi che l'hanno fatti? Per Paranormal abbiamo visto che Warren Pelli non ha più diretti, però insomma per gli altri quanto è importante che rimanga il regista che l'ha creato?
The writer-director are 500 times more important than me. We give advice and we give our ideas, but these ideas, Insidious came from James Wan, and Paranormal Activity came from Warren Pelli, and The Purge came from James DeMonico, and Sinister 2 came from Scott Derrickson, and when we have our office is as weird as our company. We have an office in downtown LA, which there are no film offices in downtown LA, and we're in Koreatown. In the lobby of our office are all the pictures of the directors that we've worked with, and our company is built on directors and empowering directors and letting directors do what they want to do. And I try and make the director, as much as possible, the face of the movies. James is busy doing what I'm doing here in the U.S., so we split up our duties. But I really try and push the directors out there as much as possible, and the movies are really about the directors, and the directors are much more important than our company and than me in terms of these individual movies.
Guardando l'elenco dei progetti che deve ancora realizzare, chiaramente ci sono molti horror, c'è qualcosa che non è horror e poi ce n'è uno che è veramente incredibile pensare che verrà dalla Blumhouse, cioè Gem e le Holograms. Come mai? Perché questa idea? Dove veniva?
So every so often we do not a horror movie. We have a movie coming out in November called Whiplash, which will come out in November. We did The Normal Heart, which is a movie about AIDS, which came out in May. And so if I see something very compelling that isn't a horror movie, I think it would be silly to be in a position to be able to do it and not do it, only because it's as silly to not like horror movies, I think, as to not like other kinds of movies, but I'm not actively looking for them. So the story of Gem and the Holograms, which interestingly is a very big property in the US and a big property in Italy, but not in the rest of Europe. No one's heard of it in France and Germany. We made Ouija with Hasbro, which was a $110 million movie in development for $110 million, which we reduced to $5, and they loved that. And they've been developing Gem and the Holograms as a bigger budgeted movie, as a $30 or $40 million movie. And they said, hey, do you think you would make this for $5 million too? And I said, it depends on the director of the script. And the director of G.I. Joe, John Chu, happened to be obsessed with Gem and the Holograms. I don't know why, but he loved it. And he loved it so much that even though we didn't own the rights, he pitched it to Hasbro, and Hasbro was like, I don't think that's the right idea for Gem and the Holograms. We pitched it together. And he said, okay, and he went home, and the guy, he's directing G.I. Joe 2, and G.I. Joe's got plenty to do. And he wrote the whole script on spec, even though they didn't kind of want him to do it, and they loved it, and I loved it, and we made it for nothing, and I haven't seen it yet. We finished it about a month ago, but Molly Ringwald is in it, and I'm excited about it.
Ma l'Hasbro, che è abituata a trattare con Michael Bay, non si è spaventata di un budget così basso?
They were very worried about it, and they didn't believe in it, much like Michael Bay. Michael Bay produced both Purge movies with me, and Michael Bay also produced Anarchy with me. And everyone is skeptical about a low budget, because everyone equates low budget with low quality. And it takes time to show that is not always the case. But I'm good at convincing people. So I turned Michael Bay around, and I turned Hasbro around. So I'm pretty good at convincing people.
Le è capitato a qualcuno che non è riuscito a convincere a spendere meno, che voleva spendere di più a tutti i costi?
Oh, all the time, yeah, all the time, all the time, all the time. Many people, especially directors who have been around for longer, who are just not willing to adjust to the fact that the movie business is less lucrative now than it used to be because of DVDs being gone, because of piracy, and because of the internet. So you have to adjust, but some people don't want to adjust. There are many people who come to my mind right now, but I won't say their names.
Allora, se avete delle domande, passate la mano, potete farle. Qui.
No, comincio io. Buongiorno. Allora, intanto la mia domanda. Prego. Microfono. Ah, grazie. Allora. Funziona? Dovrebbe funzionare. Mi sentite?
No.
Technician problems. Se no vado con la mia voce teatrale.
No, se no
gli arriva la voce a lui.
Sì, sì. Ci siamo ancora. Questa è la traduzione, giustamente. No, la mia domanda, intanto benvenuto, è due domande. Intanto c'è Transformer 5, se lo produrrà lei a questo punto, sono 5 milioni, e invece no, la considerazione invece era su John Carpenter e su Roger Corman. Cioè io ho trovato molto John Carpenter in Anarchia in realtà, più che diciamo il film di Walter Hill. Quindi volevo sapere come li considerava lei e Roger Corman per ovvi motivi, visto che in un certo senso me lo ricorda adesso in versione XXI secolo. Grazie.
Three different questions. We are not going to produce Transformers 5, and I don't mean to. There are a lot of movies that can't be done on low budget. Star Wars and Star Trek and Pixar movies and Transformers, and I love going to those movies. I will never make one of those movies. It's a very different job for a producer, and one that I personally don't like, but a lot of people do like, but it's not for me. The second question, John Carpenter and Roger Corman. John Carpenter's, I love some of both of them. Both of them have made a lot of movies that I love, and I look at Roger Corman's career and company a lot in terms of what he did, and I think it's fascinating, and I think he's an incredibly talented person. John Carpenter specifically was a director that we talked about when we were developing The Purge, because a lot of John Carpenter's movies were similar to The Purge in that there was a social message put in a genre movie, which we kind of stopped doing. So I was asked earlier this morning, do you think we're starting to do that, like with Captain America? Do you think we're starting to do that again? And I said, I can't. I have no idea, but I hope so, because I love those movies, and I love the idea of using genre as a way to as a way to communicate a message, whether you agree with the message or not. I think it's an interesting conceit. I think that notion is an interesting notion.
Sì, buongiorno, io volevo chiedere se all'interno di questa trasformazione del prodotto film anche il marketing ha avuto delle modificazioni, come l'avete pensato in termini di low budget?
Didn't get the first really quick. The transformation of films?
Yeah.
Oh, low budget marketing. Oh, got it. One of my goals is to do in marketing what we've done in movies, which is we've taken a certain set of movies that typically were done for much more money and brought them and taken 90% or 80 to 90% of the price off of that. Marketing our movies were marketed exactly the same way as a $50 million or an $80 million movie is marketed, and there's no difference between the way our movies are marketed and other studio movies are marketed. And I would love to kind of figure that out next of like how to take those costs down. And again, it's not. It's like I sound like a money sociopath, but it's the reason for that is it's great that it makes it more profitable. Certainly, I think I'm in a place in my career where if I was just thinking about money, I could make more money making Transformers 5. But I really do believe that money is corrosive to creativity. I'm going to sound kind of preachy here, but I feel like in a lot of the complaining that people do about Hollywood movies has to do with excess spending. And I feel like if you could bring the spending down, not just in budgets but in marketing too, the movies that we all get to see will get better. That's my little political speech.
Potete passare il microfono?
Lei prima ha detto che i suoi film si basano sul dare molta libertà nella creatività alle persone che le fanno. Lei crede che potrebbe fare la stessa cosa utilizzando più soldi, quindi con un budget più alto, o questi film si possono fare così audaci, si possono fare solo con un low budget? Cioè, avere più soldi cambierebbe il film o si potrebbe fare lo stesso film con più soldi?
Two different questions. So the first question is, I don't have enough clout. There are 5 people, or maybe 3 people, who can do super high budget films with the same creative control. Cameron, Spielberg, Michael Bay, that's about it. Like, they get to do what I'm doing for $200 million, but I certainly don't get to do that, and there are very few other people who can do that. So I think I guess that's answer number 1. Answer number 2.